In this weather update, we're forecasting a snowstorm into the northern Midwest and into the northern Rockies. Idaho, Montana, and North Dakota are going to get a fresh blanket of snow. We're also looking at a huge fall cold blast that's going to be coming down from Canada into the central U.S. and parts of the western U.S. and eventually into the eastern United States, bringing cooler temperatures for your Halloween next week. All of that and more is coming right up. All right, welcome back into another more weather forecast video. My name is Beckett Moore, and I'm back here in the weather studio. I haven't done a video since I think 2 weeks. Been a little busy, but I'm back here with another update as we are talking about some pretty active weather throughout the country. A lot of things are changing. We're probably going to see a pattern change. So let's get straight into all the details, looking at the European model. Right now, I usually do the European model since I think it is a little bit more accurate, a little bit less bullish than the GFS model, and that has been proven over the years. So first things first, we're going to be looking at that snowstorm you probably heard about, maybe not heard about, up here into Montana and North Dakota. That's going to be happening tomorrow into Wednesday and into Thursday, and kind of dampering off by the time we go into Friday. So going into here around the time I'm recording this video, 21Z at 4 p.m. Again, this is in Z time, but I translate it for you guys so it can make sense for you guys. And then as we go into tonight and into tomorrow, we're not seeing much happening. We are seeing that snow, that precipitation shield start to develop here into southern Canada. And then as we go into tomorrow, here around 10 a.m., here around 1 p.m., this is 4 p.m., and then into 7 p.m. tomorrow, we're really going to see that precipitation start to get its act together. A lot of rain that we see so often here into Seattle, down through Portland. We're going to see a lot of that into the higher elevations of the Cascades as well. We're going to see a lot of snow there into the, again, higher elevations to the east of Seattle and to the east of Portland here. And then as we go increasingly into Wednesday here, this is Wednesday around 10 a.m., that precipitation shield is fully formed. We've got our low pressure area right here, and this is where we do have that precipitation shield. Again, that rain is in the green, that sleet and freezing rain is in the pink and purples, and then that snow is in the blue, and this is indicating heavy snow around this time. Again, Wednesday at 10 a.m. into Montana, into northern North Dakota, and into especially the higher elevations of Wyoming and Idaho. So those lower elevations into Wyoming and into South Dakota, we were thinking maybe there's going to be a lot of snow here, but it has shifted to the north. So for right now, that is what we're forecasting, and that's probably what is going to remain as the forecast. So going again here into later on Wednesday, here into Wednesday at 4 p.m. Again, things are going to change. We can still see a pivot to the north. We can still see a little bit of a pivot to the south, but for right now, this is what it's looking like, and I've got pretty good confidence in this. And while we're going to see the snow into North Dakota, into Montana, and into northern Wyoming, Idaho, Washington, and Oregon, we are also going to see storms firing off down here into Wednesday, into late on Wednesday, down here into Texas, Oklahoma, all the way up into Iowa and Nebraska, but I'll get into that here after I look at the snow forecast that I'll look at here in a second. So going into Thursday, here early on Thursday, this is around 7 a.m. on Thursday, we're really going to start seeing that heavy snow kick in here into North Dakota. This is when you're really going to see your snow totals pile up here into North Dakota, here into Montana, and into parts of Wyoming, although there won't be enough time to really get those big amounts that you see in the winter up here. But as we keep rolling this out into the late on Thursday, so this is around 7 p.m. on Thursday, here early on Friday, that snow gets out of here, leaves cold air behind, so that snow is probably not going to melt extremely fast for this time of the year, so it's going to be there for a little bit, but will likely eventually melt up there into North Dakota. And that snowpack, this is pretty much the first big snow of the season for you guys up here into North Dakota, into Montana, into Wyoming, and into Idaho. And this is just the start. You guys know it much better than me. This is the start of that season. It's not one snowstorm, it's really a lifestyle up here, and I definitely get that. So you guys are ready for this, but just don't let your guard down. And then going into Friday, Again, that's way out of our hair at this point, going into next weekend here on Saturday. This is Saturday at 7 a.m. and here on to Sunday. Again, things are getting blurry this far out. We're going to see some rain down here into Missouri and things like that. Again, we're not going to really take too much account into this, but what I really want to look at here with the European model is that cold blast that's going to be coming in for Halloween. So into late on Sunday, into Monday and Tuesday next week. Again, timing still is going to change here this week. We're going to see a big time fall cold blast coming down, causing possibly lake effect snow up here into Michigan, into Wisconsin, into New York, and that's cold blast is going to cause big time below normal temperatures into the western United States, into the central United States by midweek, and into late week. Again, things are really getting blurry at this point, into the eastern United States, causing some lake effect snow there. So again, that's something we're going to be very much watching. It's pretty much for sure at this point we're going to have a big cold blast. So two things, that snowstorm and that cold blast. Now let's get into some more details on that snowstorm. I gotta go a little quicker here so I can get this all in for you guys. So here's the total snowfall model ratio inches. That's just a bunch of words from the National Weather Service. And you can look at the European model, you can look at the GFS model, but this I think is a little bit more accurate. It can sometimes be a little bit too conservative, but in my opinion it is more accurate than the European model and GFS model here. So as you can see in the higher elevations into the Cascades, we're gonna get up into those 2 feet that 2 feet range, and even higher in some isolated spots, again to the east of Seattle and Portland. Over here into Idaho, we're seeing anywhere from 5 to maybe up to 8 to 12 inches in some isolated pockets. Up towards Coeur d'Alene, we're only talking about probably 2 inches. That's my map behind me. It falls in every video. It's kind of an inside joke. But we also are going to be seeing some snow, definitely some big time snow over here into the eastern part of Montana, going anywhere from 8 inches to 12 inches in some isolated regions, and then down here into Yellowstone National Park and up into the central part of Montana, we're going to get anywhere from 5 to up to 16 and 20 inches of snow. So that's pretty significant. Again, it's our first big time snowstorm up here into Montana, into Wyoming. Again, like I said earlier, it's not just one storm, it's a lifestyle, so you guys are used to this, but just don't take your guard down, because you want to still be prepared for that, even if you are used to it. So then looking at the other region that's going to be impacted by the snowstorm, and that's mainly North Dakota here. So looking at North Dakota, here in the grasslands of North Dakota, Teddy Roosevelt National Park here, we're going to see anywhere from 5 inches along this line, and this line, like we always are forecasting with snowstorms, it can move a little bit farther south. It can also move a little bit farther north, so that's a little trend we will be watching as well. But anywhere really in this region, you just need to be prepared for, let's cut out that region right there. You need to be prepared from anywhere from 5 inches, especially in that southern portion, 4 to 5 inches, to up to a foot, and up here into the northern part and central part of North Dakota. So a large chunk of North Dakota is going to be dealing with 7 to 12 inches of snow. So a big time snowstorm up here for this time of the year. But we are going to, again, get much more significant than this as we go into the winter. But don't let your guard down. Still need to be prepared for that. Now, let's look at another aspect of this system, and that is severe weather. Now, the good thing is that we're not going to have one of those big systems that causes a big severe weather threat and also a big snow threat. It looks like we're going to have that snow threat, but that severe weather threat is not going to be as significant as we see with some systems. Now, on day 1, which is today, we do have that marginal risk. Day 2, which is tomorrow, we do have another marginal risk into Texas and New Mexico. And then day 3 into Texas. I think on day 2 and into day 3, we could get an upgrade to a slight risk through this region. Just looking at the model data, some of these storms are going to be pretty strong. So if you're up towards Dallas, up towards Oklahoma City, down towards El Paso, especially to the east of El Paso, just be on guard for that severe weather. We are going to have that severe weather threat as we go into tomorrow and into Wednesday. It's not too significant. Also, can't forget about you guys up here in the upper Midwest. We do have that marginal risk. Again, their marginal risk I think they could get upgraded to slight risk, especially day 3, but we'll just have to watch. But thankfully, that severe weather threat is not going to be a huge threat with this storm, which is great. Now, another aspect of this that we're looking at, we're kind of transitioning to the cold blast, which is not really associated with this. It is the cold blast that's going to be coming down from Canada into the Midwestern United States, into the Western United States, eventually into the Eastern United States. So this is from next weekend into next week in the United States. And you can just see that big time below normal temperature cold blast here from Minnesota all the way down to Arkansas, especially up here into the upper Midwest. This is definitely going to drop your high temperatures from the heat wave that we're dealing with right now down to very much below normal here into Missouri, into Kansas, into Oklahoma, into Colorado, over towards Illinois, and over towards Michigan, and even up north again into the Dakotas, down through Nebraska here in the Great Plains, down through Texas. So this is a really big cold blast that we're going to be dealing with. But here down into the southeast and east coast, you're going to be staying warm. I know a lot of people do complain about that southeast ridge. It is going to be staying, but I do think that we are going to see that cold blast kind of infiltrate that southeast ridge, but into Florida, up through North Carolina, up through Jersey, and into New York City. You are going to be dealing with those above normal temperatures. It's going to be warmer over here into the west, and the biggest chunk of the United States, we are going to be dealing with cooler than average temperatures. So again, that cold blast coming in during Halloween time, so coming in next weekend, late next weekend, into next week. You got to be ready for it. Start getting out those winter coats. I'm saying it, if you're down in Arkansas and Oklahoma, you guys might need to start getting out those winter coats. I might not yet, but during the nighttime, it's going to get pretty dang cold in St. Louis where I live, so I will definitely have reports from St. Louis on that as it happens. Now, what we're dealing with right now is a heat wave. That's at least what I would call it, a mini heat wave here in St. Louis over towards Kansas. 88 degrees in Kansas, 79 is our high today. So these are the highs today, 79 in St. Louis, 88 in over here in Kansas, 85 in Kansas City, 82 in Omaha, 79 over here in Des Moines, 64 into Chicago. But really throughout this region, we're kind of dealing with a mini heat wave. But that's going to change as we go into next week, into late this week and into next week. So this is looking at Saturday. We got 63, and it's going to be going down from there as we go into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. That cold blast that is going to be up here, it's going to be coming down into Missouri, into Oklahoma, into Arkansas, and you really do need to be ready for that. Again, bundle up if you want to, especially at night. It is going to get cold. So that about wraps up this More Weather Forecast video. Make sure you subscribe. Go follow me on Twitter. The link will be in the description. Stay prepared out there for that snow up into Montana, up into North Dakota, up into Minnesota, Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. Also, that cold blast, again, it's going to be coming down from Canada into a large chunk of the country next week. And I will see you soon with more weather.